Hello everyone, my name is Arisa. I'm a constructive speaker from the Affirmative side. I'm very happy to be here and I want to appreciate to everyone who supported us and to be here and my opponent also from Saitama Prefecture. So I want to enjoy this debate with basic smile. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson and honorable judges and audience and Municipal Urawa students. My name is Makoto Yukawa and I'm a tax speaker from the Affirmative side. Because I am here, I want to do my best ever I did debate. So I do my best with a basic smile and thank you hard to support us. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Saki and I'm the defense speaker from the Affirmative side. I'm really glad to be here with all this audience and I'm glad to meet Ichibitsu Urawa in Ibaraki. I will do my best in this debate so that I will not regret this match with basic smile. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson and audience, a lot of audience and honorable judges and my friends. I'm a summary speaker from the Affirmative side. I do my best and I want to enjoy this debate with basic smile.
Thank you. We will now have a brief introduction from the negative side members.
Thank you, Chairperson, a lot of audiences and honorable judges. My name is Megumi. I'm a constructive speaker from the negative side. I want to enjoy this debate and I'll do my best. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson and judges. My name is Nanako. I will be the tax speaker from the negative side. I'll do my best. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson and honorable judges and so many audience. My name is Manaka. I'm a defense speaker from the negative side. I'd like to cooperate with my teammate. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, judges, and a lot of audiences. My name is Mabel, and I'm the summary speaker from the negative side. I'm really happy to be here, and I'd like to enjoy this debate much. Thank you.
Thank you. Before the round starts, team leaders please come to the front and shake hands. We will now begin this round with the affirmative constructive speech for 4 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes,
Please say your name and start.
I'll start my speech. My name is Arisa. So we will provide 140,000 yen for each adult, 70,000 yen for each child as basic income. The income tax will be a flat 41% and inheritance tax will be 20%. Income under 1.68 million yen will not be taxed. 81. A better safety net for all. Present situation. According to the Ministry of Welfare, 1 in 6 or 20 million people live on less than 1.2 million yen a year. But according to Professor Sai, 84% of them cannot receive the public assistance because of its strict conditions. The poor need to lose everything to be eligible. For example, they must lose the ability to work, families to depend on, and even savings of only 10,000 yen. According to Japan Federation of Bar Association, 66% of the rejected applicants were rejected illegally. The public assistance is not reliable. Effect. Basic income secures a stable income. We can always get it. Also, it has no means test, which means everyone can rely on it under any circumstances. This saves people who are suffering from poverty now and everyone who may fall in poverty in the future. Anybody might lose their income due to injury, sickness, companies bankruptcy, and downsizing. No one will be left in poverty. Importance. Preventing poverty means preventing mental and physical health problems. According to the Science Council of Japan, poor people were 3.4 times more likely to become mentally ill. These illnesses can lead to death. Also, poverty leads to suicide. According to the Nippon Foundation 2016, 351,000 people attempted suicide for health problems in 1 year. And Science Council of Japan found that poor are 1.6 times more likely to commit suicide. Poverty is a problem of life. We must save people who live in poverty now and everyone who may fall in poverty in the future by basic income. 82. Brighter future for children. Present situation. Today, 1 in 6 children belongs to a poor family. The families of poor children don't have money to invest in extracurricular activities, cram school, and books, resulting in lower academic skills. According to Gakken, children from poor families with annual income of 2 to 3 million yen scored 10 points lower on tests than the other children. Effect. Basic income provides a stable income that both children and parents can rely on. For example, a single mother with 1 child who earns 1.8 million yen a year now can get double money by this plan. With this extra money, she could make additional investment in her child. According to Benesse, an additional 2 million yen of annual income for family results in an additional 500,000 yen a year invested into education. Also, children can get basic income even after they graduate from high school, which will help them go to university or live even with low wages. When they have a family, they can give better living conditions and education to their children. They can get out of poverty. Importance. No child's future should be determined at birth. All children must have an equal opportunity to get an education, and thanks to higher education, they can get better jobs. According to the Ministry of Welfare, when a middle school graduate finishes their high school, their annual income increases by 430,000 yen, and when a high school graduate finishes their college, their income will increase by 32,000 yen. It will bring not only individual happiness but also social benefits. According to the Nippon Foundation 2016, 1 child's higher education will produce 16 million yen of benefit to the nation by changing them from tax users into taxpayers, which Japan as an aging nation desperately needs now. I'd like to repeat our signpost. 81, better safety net for all, and 82, brighter future for children. That's all. Thank you.
Please hear your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Mabel. So your advantage one is better safety net for all, is it right?
Yes.
Okay. You said that 20 million people are in poverty, is it right?
But they cannot receive public assistance.
So what is the definition of poverty? How much income do they have?
As I said in 81, 1.2 million.
Okay, thank you. And you said that 84% of the people cannot get public assistance.
Yes.
So do they have like enough saving or ability to work?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
No. Sorry, no.
Okay. Thank you. And you said that okay. And in your advantage one, you said basic income will be used for basic living cost, right?
Yes.
Okay. And your advantage two, you said that basic income will be used for education. So which do you think that poor people will use money for?
Yes, our importance is children will get higher education by basic income. They can get higher income, which is equal to contribute for society.
Okay, so about your 82, why can you say that parents will use basic income for education?
As I said in 82, additional 2 million yen of annual income result in an additional 5 million yen of invest into education.
How about by your plan, by basic income, how much?
They can get basic income, which is equal to get more income. So it means they can.
So can you say that
education.
all of the basic income will be used for education?
We didn't say that, but we can. 2.6 million poor child can get out of poverty, and so according to.
Okay, thank you very much. So you focus on children going to university or high school?
So both of them is very important. So as I said in 82, so when the middle school. Thank you.
Thank you.
And question time is ended. We want to hear the negative constructive speech for 4 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Megumi. Disadvantage 1. Lack of funds for emergency disaster. Lack of funds for emergency disaster. Present situation. Japan has a high risk for an earthquake. The risk of Nankai earthquake or the Tokyo earthquake is 70% in 30 years, and the Tokai earthquake is 88%. After disaster, the government cuts part of its national budget and creates emergency funds. According to Parliament, soon after the 2011 Tokyo disaster, all the money for emergency relief came from these budget cuts, including many cuts from public assistance. In fact, when a natural disaster happens again, it will be very difficult to create emergency funds. Look at this image. The budget must be almost tripled to cover both basic income and current other projects. Basic income will be a very large, untouchable part of the budget, mostly coming from tax revenue. However, the amount of tax revenue is strongly related to economic conditions. For example, according to the Cabinet Office, when the Lehman shock occurred in 2008, tax revenue decreased by 25%. Economically, there is a 10-year cycle of the world recession. So this kind of decrease will happen again. But the cost of basic income cannot be changed. When a disaster strikes, it will be impossible to move money from basic income to emergency relief. So the government must cut money from other important projects instead. Importance. Statistically, a terrible disaster happens once in 9 years. After the Nankai earthquake, 1.5 million people will be evacuated. Emergency relief is the only way to provide temporary housing and other needs. What's more, we shouldn't have to give up important projects like infrastructure, education, and so on. The government budget must be flexible enough to save its citizens. Disadvantage 2. More people in poverty. Present situation. Public assistance is used because it is individually calculated to achieve the minimum standard of living. For example, in the city areas, about 130,000 yen is provided to each single person in a month. In addition, they have special exemptions or tokubetsu kojo. Public assistance recipients do not have to pay for resident taxes, income taxes, and basic living costs. In total, these exemptions will be about 29,000 yen per month. Actually, many people depend on this public assistance. According to Yomiuri in 2016, about 2.1 million people receive public assistance. 80% of them cannot work due to their age or some physical or mental illness. Public assistance is the only support to maintain their lives. In fact, but by their plan, 140,000 yen will be provided. They will do special exemptions. They must use about 29,000 yen from basic income to cover those costs. Therefore, in total, public assistance recipients will be 19,000 yen short of money in a month. Importance. According to Ministry of Internal Affairs in 2014, today about 57% of recipients living in the city areas, as we said, they will be 19,000 yen short of the minimum standard of living every month. This is serious because the lack of money affects their health directly. According to Live News in 2015, especially the death rate of poor elderly people is 3 times higher than average. The depression rate is 5 times higher. Basic income will worsen the situation and destroy many lives. Our disadvantage 1 is lack of funds for emergency disaster. Disadvantage 2 is more people in poverty. For these reasons, Japan should not carry out basic income. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Preparation time has ended. We will now have a question from the affirmative side for 2 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson and audience. My name is Bei. I will ask some questions. First about your DA1. Why can you say the Nankai Torafu earthquake will actually happen?
Because there is a high possibility, and as I said, once in 9 years.
It is the possibility, like.
Yes, high
Okay,
possibility.
so you don't have the earthquake will actually happen. Yes. I will move on. Next question.
Yes.
What is your harm of disadvantage 1?
Disadvantage 1. Immediate support will last. Immediate
What is
support.
immediate?
which is a support for the disaster, because as I said,
Okay, can I move on next question?
Okay.
About your year 2, how many people will you have?
about 1 million people, because
From here, okay? And
as I
how
said,
many people are receiving the 29,000 yen?
no,
No.
19,000 yen.
90,000.
We lack.
Yes. How many people are receiving the such amount of welfare now? Is that at most?
2.1. All of the recipients have the exemption.
Okay. And why do you include the income tax? We will not impose the basic income to
Okay.
impose
However,
income tax to basic.
the lack of money will surely happen.
So you cannot prove that.
Okay. Even if
So
there is
can I
no
move on next
import-
question?
Yes.
Why can you say, what is your farm of year 2?
Okay. About as I said, 3 times the depression rate will be
How
5.
many people will you say?
As I said, 1 million people, because as I said,
Year
2.1
two.
million. Yes, disadvantage 2, 1 million people.
We will now hear the negative attack speech for 3 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
What's your name and start?
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Nanako. First, I'd like to talk to the advantage one. First, they said only 16% of the people can get public assistance, but that is not true. Because the reason why they're rejected to receive welfare is that they have enough saving they can use for their living. According to Ministry of Welfare in 2010, people with enough saving or ability to work cannot receive welfare. So the reason why people are rejected to receive welfare is that they are not truly poor. So actually, if we consider this point, 75% of people can get public assistance now. That's why their aid is not necessary. Second, they said they can save low-income peoples, but that is not necessary because those people are living with their family. According to the Big Issue Japan Foundation in 2014, about 77% of people who only have low income, they are living with their family. Also, about 68% of people don't have to pay housing costs, so they are not poor. Therefore, their aid is not necessary. Third, they said poor people refuse illegally to get public assistance, but that is not true because first of all, their evidence is too old. We have same evidence, then that is from 2006, but we have the evidence from 2014. According to Suzuki Wataru, who is a professor of Gakushu University, government had already relaxed the standard of getting public assistance to against illegal refuse. That's why families who get public assistance increased by 20% from 2006 to 2014. So more and more people can get public assistance in present situation. Therefore, their aid is not necessary. Third, they said poor people are rejected to receive welfare, but that is not true because according to NPO Pose and Benegos.com, even if truly poor people reject to receive welfare unreasonably, they can choose the welfare office for free and they can get welfare. Therefore, there is no necessity to use basic income. Fifth, they said poor cannot get public assistance, but that is not true because there is a system to support people who cannot get public assistance. According to the Ministry of Welfare in 2016, the new self-support measure has started since 2015, and just in 17 months, about 41,000 needy people are already supported, so there is no necessity for their advantage. Next, I'd like to attack to the advantage too. First, they said they will use basic income to save poor people's lives and education, but we couldn't understand which purpose poor people use basic income. We think both of AD will not happen at the same time, so the AD is really unclear. And second, they said high school graduate people cannot get high salary, but that is not true. According to Toyota Maimi, who is a financial planner in 2013, high school graduate people can get about 5 million yen a year. This is enough to live, and they will not be poor because 5 million yen is higher than average of Japanese income, so their aid is not necessary. And second, they said poor people cannot go high school or university, but that is not true because there is a support for those people. According to the Ministry of Education, the government supports school fees for poor whose income is under 9 million yen. And by this support, people can go high school, and also government have decided to give scholarship for poor children to go to college. And this will save 75,000 poor people. That's why it is not so important. And lastly,
Thank you,
Chairperson. I'm Saki. In your first attack, you said our take-up rate doesn't consider savings. But why can you say savings is we have to consider savings?
Because if the people have enough saving or ability to work, they cannot get public assistance, and that's why they cannot get public assistance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
thank you. In your second attack, you said poor people live with family,
yes.
and they're okay. But why can you say that they're okay? They're living with the family, and they are poor.
Because I want to say that they are not poor because they live with their family's income and also their income. That's why they're not serious.
What do you mean?
Because about 77% of people who only have low income are living with their family, and about 68% of people don't have to pay housing costs.
Okay. In your third attack, you said our evidence is too old. But what kind of evidence do you have?
We have the same evidence of view, and that is from 2006. But I have the evidence from 2014, and this show that the government already relaxed the standard of getting public assistance against illegal refuse, and that's why 20% of public assistance recipients increased.
Thank you. And in your fourth attack, you said the consulting welfare offices for free. How many people actually use this system?
Actually, this system's successful rate is really high, and
Really
many
high.
people use.
Okay, really high. Okay.
Yes.
And you have in your last fifth attack, you mentioned the support. What kind of support?
This is support for like job assistance, housing support, and child allowance for education.
Were the people really able to get a stable job that actually?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question time has ended. We want to hear the affirmative attack speech for 3 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson Justice. My name is Makoto. I'll start my attack speech. First of all, I'll attack to their possibility in DA1. Look at this graph. In 2011, great as Japan earthquake, the tax revenue did not decrease at all. Do you really believe that the Japanese government and the world will let Japan go down? Second possibility. Because the earthquake may happen in Japan, there's no way to avoid it. And no one can estimate about the natural disaster. Possibility is unpredictable, so we should take basic income, which is sure to save people. Third, even earthquake, government can issue bond for debilitating and it will compensate the expenditure as they did in history. FODA2. First possibility. If people are eligible, they can get all those exemptions and special services, but with just 1 million above the poverty line, people can't get anything. This is unfair, so their importance is small. But we can save them by basic income, so importance is small. Second, importance. They talked about the loss of public assistance recipient, but public assistance recipient has limited savings. But basic income doesn't impose it. Therefore, all people can save money without restriction. As for public assistance, if they save money more than the restriction, their savings is deployed by local governments. Third, they talked about the exemption, but we will not impose income tax to people whose income tax is less than 1.68 million yen. Such people don't have to pay income tax, and I saw their evidence about tax exemption, but they are only show tax exemption. So our plan will be tax exemption. So their possibility and value doesn't stand. Fourth attack. They talked about the value, the amount of public assistance, but this is just one example. All of public assistance recipients cannot get it. So the premise is different. So the possibility doesn't stand. Therefore, value also doesn't stand. So For these reasons, their AD1 possibility and DA1 value doesn't stand. Also, DA's possibility and DA's value also doesn't stand. That's all. Thank you.
We will then have a question time from the negative side for 2 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Malaka. You have 3 attack points at disadvantage 1. On your first attack point, you said the tax revenue has no connection with the economy, right?
Yes.
Thank you. On your second attack point, you said no one can estimate the possibility of earthquake, right?
Not earthquake, natural disaster such as earthquake.
However, actually, Cabinet Office showed the risk of disaster. So what do you think about this point?
This is just number. This is just number and
Thank you.
just.
I see. Thank you very much.
This
On
is
your
not
third
decided.
attack point, you said the government can issue the bonds, right?
Yes.
However, is it possible?
Because in the earthquake, government has to collect the money for
However,
invasion.
to make the bonds, I think it takes a lot of time. So what do you think about this point?
Government bond is printing the bonds and
How much time it takes to make new bonds?
time is not important because government should have to go to the rapidly.
Okay,
So
thank you. I'd like to move on our second point. You have 4 attack points at disadvantage 2. On your first attack point, you said 1 million people are unfair, right?
no, I said that just there are also there are exemptions, but with just 1 m above the poverty line, 1 m above the poverty line, they cannot get exemption. Just 1 m above the poverty line.
So what do you mean?
So the restriction for exemption is harsh. So
Okay, I see. On your second attack point, you said that capture rate is limited, right?
no, saving is limited.
Okay, however, as my attack speaker said, actual capture rate is 75%. So what do you think about this one?
But this is not capture right. But as our constructive speaker said, 66% cannot apply.
Okay, thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Saki. First, they attacked by saying the RT-CUP rate is wrong, but the saving they mentioned could be just 1 yen above the poverty line, or earning just 1 yen above the poverty line. This is too unfair because if a poor person earns 1 yen above the poverty line, then he will get no support from the government. And to their second attack, they said the poor people live with their families, but I checked their evidence. It says the number mentioned 77%. They actually live with parents. Poor people live with their parents who also live on low pension. This is very unstable. They cannot get independent. The poor parents and the poor people will have to live hard lives together. And according to Mainichi newspaper, there are 6.66 million irregular workers who are the main earner of the family. So they are supporting the family with low income. And to their third attack, they attack that our data is too bold, but still it shows that there are still illegal rejections that prevent poor people from getting support. And according to Asahi newspaper 2008, out of those people who consulted with welfare offices about living problems, only 45% actually applied for public assistance. This is because government officials make the poor believe that they do not qualify for assistance. The real problem is not acceptance and rejection, but applying. And to their fourth attack, they mentioned a system of a consultation, but this is just a system. They said it has a high possibility, but it's just about those people who could go to welfare offices and consult. There are people who cannot even go to the welfare offices for consulting because they feel stigma or they're too poor. And about the fifth attack, about news program, self-independence support programs are actually harmful to the poor. According to Huffington Post, this program promotes poor people to get low salary jobs with awful working conditions and to live in cheap illegal houses, unquote. We need to provide all people with money to live on their own. And to their first attack on 82, money can be actually used for both purposes because poor families are unable to spend money on education, and if they use money for living conditions to improve the children's living conditions, then it will also improve the household conditions and studying environment for children, which will lead to better academic opportunities. And to the second attack, they mentioned the college students can earn, but this is just about the people who are working. And according to Neshu Guide, middle school graduates are twice as likely to be unemployed as college graduates. So this shows that and okay, thank you.
Thank you. The negative different speech for 3 minutes. Already.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Manka. I'd like to reconcile our point. First, they cannot understand relationship between tax revenue and economy. And explain. We want to say that we will lose the tax revenue because of the bad economy. According to the Ministry of Finance, Japan, as GDP grows 1.1%, tax revenue also, as GDP grows at 1.1%, tax revenue also increased 1.1%. There is strong relationship between economy and GDP growth. That's why our process strongly stands. There is a strong relationship. Second, they said we have no way to avoid. It means we have to prepare for it. However, government will not start measure. According to the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare in 2015, 39% of waterworks business persons have not made a plan of reinforcement works. It is impossible to begin construction from now on. 3.4 million people will not be able to use water because of lack of emergency fund. So Japan needs to prepare the money. Third, they said Japan can make the bonds, but that is not true. For example, when Nankai Trust earthquake happens, we can roughly calculate that Japanese government needs 5 trillion yen immediately for temporary housing. However, Japan does not have capacity to make new debt. According to Nikkei newspaper in 2016, the Bank of Japan will soon be a limit of buying bonds. Also, in case of disaster relief, we cannot wait for the money to be collected by bond. That's why your point does stand. I'd like to summarize our point. Tax revenue or national debt is limited. If disasters happen, Japan has to cut from today's policy except basic income because it is untouchable. Basic income is just burden of Japanese recovery, especially for suffers. I'll move on my second point. On their first and fourth attack point, the old people cannot exemption, but that's not true. If even in the present situation, all recipients of public assistance can receive the exemption. That's why our point doesn't strongly stand. On the second attack point, they said 66% of poor people were rejected to receive welfare, but that's not true because even if truly poor people rejected to receive welfare, they can get public assistance. Even if truly poor people rejected to receive welfare unreasonably, they can charge the welfare officer for free, and they can receive welfare. And actually, public assistance saves 75% of poor people. That's why our point has stand. And third, they cannot understand contents of exemptions. I'll explain more clearly. It is at least resident tax 19,000 yen, and if we consider about television reception fee, 2,500 yen additional. That's why in total, even if we consider about income tax, they have to pay 21,500 yen from their basic income. Then their health condition will be worse. That's why our point doesn't strongly stand and serious. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. We will now hear the affirmative summary speech for 3 minutes. Are you ready? Yes. Please say your name and start.
Thank you, Chairperson and audience. My name is Junpei. I will summarize this debate. First, I will point out their weak point about their DA1. They couldn't defend our attack for possibility. So please remain this point. And about their DA2, they couldn't defend first and second attack. So please remain this point. And next I will explain our strong points, but 82, they didn't attack our importance. So our argument strongly remain, and I believe our defense speaker made our argument stronger. And I will compare 81 and DA2. In their DA2, 1 million people will be damaged, they said. But as the attack speaker said, if people are eligible, they can get all those exemptions and special subsidies. But with just 1 yen above the poverty line, people cannot get anything. This is unfair, so their importance is small. And on the other hand, our 81 can save more people, 10 million people. The current system has heavy restrictions and stigma, and what is worse, 66% of them were rejected illegally. Like we stated, these poor people are committing suicide. In fact, 350,000 people try to kill themselves just for health problems. We can save them with basic income. And now they have to be facing health problems and death. The current system is destroying their dignity and life. Also, everyone may become poor. Basic income can safety net for all people. Why should we stick to 1 million people who will not be harmed at the cost of 10 million people who will be actually be saved by basic income? I will compare our DA2 and their our 82 and their DA2. In their DA2, about their DA2, the possibility and value is very low. And also, Japanese government has issued a bond for the disease, this is from their evidence. And also, when the Lehman shock happened, the Japanese government had issued government bond, and the total revenue had not changed. Please remain this point. And even the government cut the such budget, they said, what had happened to us? Nothing had happened. So that means that money is waste of money, so that is not necessary. And I will explain 82's uniqueness. It is important to provide learning environment since childhood into adulthood. And only basic income can do that. And we can provide equal opportunity to 2.6 million children. No one should be determining their future at birth. This is important not only for the children but also the whole society. With basic income, children can earn money to improve their lives and be taxpayers in aging society. We should take this from them.
Thank you. We'll now hear the final speech of this round, the negative summary speech for 3 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Please say your name and short.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Mado. First of all, their 81 and 82 will not happen at the same time because as they said that in 81, basic living cost basic income will be used for the living cost, and about their 82, they talked about education. So we cannot know that whether adults will use the basic income completely for education, or if the basic income is enough for the education. So their point is really clear. And about advantage one, they talked about safety net for all. But as we said, actual capture rate of public assistance is 75%. And they said the amount of saving people have maybe 1 yen, but it is not true. Our evidence said that other 25% have enough savings over the government standard of giving public assistance. And also, they said that there is stigma, but the number of people who feel stigma is unclear. And also, government relaxed standard of public assistance in 2014. So their evidence of 2006 and 2008 is too old, so the legal reviews is not happening in the present situation. So their plan is not necessary. And as we said, 77% of the poor live with family members, and we are not talking about parents with pension. We are talking about parents or partners who is the main earner. And they said that main earner is also low income, but their evidence was only about non-regular workers, so we cannot know whether many earners are poor. So the number of people they can save is really small. And as we said, new self-support measure is not only job assistance, but also housing allowance or education. So these kinds of support can save people who cannot get public assistance, so their point is really weak. And about their 82, they talked about education, but not all basic income will be used for education. And it is unclear whether basic income is enough for children to go to high school and university, so their process is really weak. And as we said, high school graduates can earn 5 million yen on average. And the benefit for society happens when the poor people go to college as same as the average of Japan. So, and they didn't prove that the poor people will go as same as the average number of Japan, so their value is really unclear. And next, I'd like to talk about our disadvantage. Our disadvantage one is lack of funds for emergency disaster. As we said, Japan has high risk of earthquake, which cannot be avoided as they admitted in the attack peak. So in this case, government needs to create huge money suddenly. And in the present situation, we can cut small amount of budget from various policies. However, with basic income, it will be untouchable, huge part of budget. So government must cut some of the important policies or give up emergency relief. And as we said, Bank of Japan cannot buy bonds, and it has limit. So this is serious. And a disadvantage too is more people in poverty. And as we said, every public assistance recipients have the right to get exemption of taxes and basic living costs. And by their plan, 190,000 yen short of money will happen. And this is serious for 1 million people who cannot get, who are dependent to public assistance. So we should not sacrifice people's lives, and we should not carry out their plan. Thank you.
Thank you. The debate is now over. You all did a great job.
I guess the microphone is. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And congratulations to both teams for debating this semifinal. It was very close but enjoyable. And I'd like to congratulate all the debaters here, not only you guys and ladies on the panel, but also other debaters who took part in this tournament. I do really enjoy this debate, but there was only one winner in this debate, right? Okay, now we're kind of behind the schedule, and I don't know, we're supposed to start a quarterfinal or semifinal in 5 minutes or something? Okay, 25, okay, but I don't know. So I need to talk about what I'm prepared to talk about as short as possible, I guess? Okay. Okay, now basically, this is a debate between the affirmative who tries to support the poor people without public assistance. And negative arguments are based upon very good evidence, but they're supporting a different kind of people. They're talking about, for example, in DSAT 2, they're talking about poor people too, but those poor people are under public assistance, right? So this is a very difficult decision. Now, let me talk specifically about the arguments made by the affirmative. The affirmative says, under the advantage one, that those poor people applied for public assistance, but they were being rejected, right? And they try to support those people with basic income. Here's a question. This is the year 2016, right? The evidence quoted in the first affirmative talks about the situation back in 2008 or 6, saying that 66% of those who applied but were rejected were for illegal reasons or illegal refusals. My question is, what's the situation right now, right? And we are not really sure how many people were being rejected, even if they're actually entitled to the public assistance. Okay. Actually, this debate was not about the number. Maybe most debaters should think about how to prioritize policies. There are many people who suffer from something, but we need to put priority on who to protect first, who is to protect the second. Without the lack of the prioritization, judges are at a loss which to choose. So this debate was very close. There are 5 judges. 3 judges voted for the negative. Urawa Municipal High School. But once again, as I said, this was very close. 2 judges voted for the affirmative. So probably, this decision may change if you prioritize the kinds of people who try to protect. Thank you.